You know, we just don't have a ton of days left, I would say, until it starts to get really cold here in northern Kentucky, where I'm at in Zone 6B. I thought I'd take this opportunity to let everybody know about my next big garden task, which is planting bulbs that I hope will emerge in early spring. Now, this time last year, planting bulbs was not even on my radar, really. I didn't start doing that until December. But you know, my spring bloomers really just kind of were late to the game for my personal taste. So I said, you know, I'm going to make sure that I plant the bulbs a little bit earlier this year. Now I realize a lot of you out there will probably have already planted your bulbs. But I typically like to plant mine in November, December. I mean, I'm new to the whole bulb planting thing anyway. But I went to Menards to get my bulbs. I did not order them online or anything. And they had a great selection. They had a lot of bulbs when I went. I'm going to go again and try to, you know, get any more that may be on a deeper discount. Any more that maybe are picked at this point. I would imagine they're pretty picked over. What I got the most of are Alliums, which are ornamental onion. I did have really good luck with some Allium this past season. These I thought were so unique looking. These are called Siculum. Hey, do you need something? I'm just filming my video. You're okay. So these are really pretty Alliums. I thought those were unique looking. They don't look like any typical Alliums, which of course have this globe effect. And you can get Alliums that are this size or this size. I mean, truly, there's a whole range of different types of Allium, but they typically come in all different colors. A lot of times you'll see this bluish lavender hue. I also got these Christophi Alliums, which are really big bloom heads. And you can see they're a little more dispersed. The little, I don't even know what you would call the smaller little bloom heads on top of the larger one, but they're a little bit more spread out and dispersed. It gives a really whimsical cottage garden feel. And then of course the more compact, which these are Azurium. There's 12 in here. There's 5 of the larger, and you can see those bulbs are a lot bigger that we have in here. And I can't remember how much these were. These were around, I think, $4 or $5 per bag. So I thought that was a pretty good price. I did want to try some crocus because I think these are so gorgeous. This is 25 bulbs. I can't remember. I'll put the price down below of how much I spent. Again, at Menards. And these are just so pretty. I love that deep lavender hue. They look so good in the ground. They really do. And daffodils. Now, I did not go with your traditional yellow, bright school bus yellow. I went with this more muted, neutral tone, and I am going to put these underneath my big maple tree outside, which right now happens to be a vibrant fire truck red. It is looking so good. I get so many compliments from people, from neighbors driving nearby. And these daffodils are just gorgeous. They're pretty much white, like a cream color. And I thought that would really be a nice complement to the purple crocuses. So I am going to head back to the big box store. I would always suggest doing that. Of course, you can buy your bulbs online. Pretty expensive to do that, but it does seem like you get a lot more. I did check out the Color Blends website, and they have a lot of amazing spring bulbs that you can order right now. They're shipping them out right now. And you don't want to wait too long. You don't want to wait too late because, of course, you could run into some supply issues if you do that. But I'm really excited to plant these bulbs, get started on that before we get this chance for snow in the forecast. But even if we do have a frost or a freeze or snow or whatever, I mean, you really still can plant your bulbs, from what I understand, all the way into mid to maybe even, depending on your zone, late December, if you're wanting those to emerge in March and April. So the ones that I did plant last year that bloomed in the spring, those were the grape hyacinth, I believe is what they call those, muscari, and the allium. And I got so many compliments on the allium. They were so pretty. I believe I had either the Millennium or the Gladiator allium. I'm getting a phone call. I found my bulb planting site, which was right at the base of a maple tree. So I just had to painstakingly go in and dig my holes around 4 to 6 inches deep and then place my bulbs in the correct direction facing up. I also want to make sure that I let you guys know companion planting is essential because the foliage of a lot of these spring bulbs like alliums, they can start to look a little ragged. And if you're trying to plant for all seasons, you want to try to plant some of these bulbs pretty close to other perennials in your garden. A lot of us dealing with fall leaf drop. You can see these beautiful red leaves from my maple tree. It's a great idea. If you want to leave those leaves, that can help the critters like this ladybug larva thrive and have habitat for protection in the winter. All right, I'm coming back on here well after I filmed, planting all my bulbs because I wanted to let you guys know that my strategy has become doing it in 2 parts as far as bargain hunting for bulbs. Some specialty bulbs probably demand the higher price tag that you find online. But for me, when I'm just planting regular old daffodils, alliums, crocus, that sort of thing, and I'm not too specific about the actual varieties, for me, hitting up the Menards or the big box store almost into December, right now it's the week before the week of Thanksgiving, you can find some good selection. Now, stuff's going to be picked over. That's why I went 3 weeks ago or whatever it was, and I got 25 different types of bulbs, 5 different types of bulbs for $25 total. So you can do the math on that. But these, of course, are just the ones that are left over this time of year. And this was 99 cents. And I've got how many? I've got 8 daffodil bulbs, so nice size bulbs. And this is just a mixed blend of daffodils in that yellow and that white. And then I also picked up 8 allium bulbs of the purple. For my purposes, I think it'll do the trick. So 99 cents a piece, in total 16 bulbs, for $2. You really can't beat that. So if you're not particular, I would say run, don't walk to your local hardware store. And in my case, it's Menards. I picked up some vintage light bulbs for one of my shrubs outside. This is the 25, these are LED, this is ceramic lights. Now, real purists who really are after that incandescent vintage bulb look, I have noticed some very expensive options, but they're top notch online. I'll put a link to that below. But I thought, 25 bucks for this box of 25 LEDs. And that old school harkens back to the Christmases you had growing up, your grandma's string of bulbs. That's the look that I'm after. And I got the second to last box. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy the whole process of planting bulbs and having something to look forward to when we're in the doldrums of winter. I know that seed starting is something I like to do that time of year too, when it's so dark and miserable out and there's nothing to look at in the landscape. But I think bulbs is one of those things that, you really do get that benefit well after months of your hard work that you put forward now, before it gets too terribly cold. The weather has been all over the place where we're at in Zone 6B in northern Kentucky. We've already had our first snow, and I did get those bulbs planted right before that hit. So this video has been a long time coming. I'm going to try to be better about getting on a schedule with getting these videos out here on YouTube. But you know how life can be. It can just feel all over the place and really busy, especially in this run up to the holidays. So everybody take care. I hope you get everything done that you need to. I know I've got my Christmas shopping list that I got to start tackling. So that will be in addition to getting some more bulbs planted before we start entering into those freezes. Y'all take care.